Yeah, man. Hey, I know it's been over a month, but look, it was longer than expected. I mean, you the producer, and all these technical difficulties and this and that, and also going on chat pray through that. I mean, that was cool though. But yeah, I don't even know if I can still do this. Yeah, I know how to speak, so yeah, I know I could do that. But yeah, I'm just glad we got some great guests. We got we'll have Jeff and Audrey Johnson going to talk about their MAGA wedding. So at least that takes a little bit of load off. But yeah. Did you got the mic on? Yeah, okay. Hey.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome to another episode of Trend Chat. I am your host, Brian Bledsoe, and if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, it's all the same name at TrendChat 24/7. So, I guess as you heard, it's been a while. I'm guessing if you've been paying attention, you noticed that it's been over a month, which was surprising to me because I was thinking that it maybe was, I thought it was at least 3 weeks, but apparently it's been over a month because when I went to see what would the number of this episode would be, and I saw the date on there, I was like, it's been over it's over a month. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how the time just flew by, but we thought we were going to go on a little bit of break, maybe about a week or so, but we didn't think it was going to be like a whole month. But there were some technical difficulties, especially when it comes to interviews. I could have easily just came on by myself, but which would have been fine. But I was really trying to get that fixed because I just want to have the ability to record interviews when I can. So, and I was just working on that, and that was just very time consuming and yeah, it wasn't the greatest experience, but hey, we got it fixed to the best of our ability. Let's put it that way. I mean, there are things we would like to improve on, but we just have to make do with what we have. So, I mean, if you like, share, and subscribe a little more, just saying, I'm not trying to put a guilt trip on you. I'm just saying that would give us a chance maybe to buy something to where it would, I guess, be a little more convenient. Let's put it that way. But let's not talk about all that. Nobody want to hear me complain. So, we're going to have Jeff and Audrey Johnson on later to talk about their wedding, which got a lot of news, especially in the past week or so because of a dress Audrey wore. As far as it was the Make America Great Again dress that has been seen, as I mentioned in the interview. I think the first time I saw it was with Joy Villa and others as well. And so she wore that got some attention, a lot of attention, and we'll talk about that. So before we get into that, we are live here in the illustrious studios of Trend Chat in Chicago, and we're just trying to make sure that we're not, trying to duck from all the shots, I mean, just making sure nothing, something like that. So, but, honestly, we're in a good spot. We're not in the area where, so it's not like that. But, I do know about that area though, South Chicago especially, driving through there. I can't get through there fast enough when I'm driving through that area. I do not want to be around. I don't care if it's in the daytime, but yeah. So we're here in Chicago, and as I mentioned before, as far as we've been gone, and one thing that happened, because we're recording on a Monday morning, actually. This is kind of different. We normally don't record in the mornings, just mainly because of my job as far as driving and all that. But we have some time, so we're going to do it now. And also because we didn't get a chance to do it during the weekend, which was, again, because of issues. But we wanted to make sure we get this out as soon as possible. But like I said, it's been a week since we were on, we was at the Blaze, studio at the, in Mercury 1. And that's where, if you don't know, that's where Blaze TV, a lot of the programs are filmed. And we were there last Monday to film a part on the Chad Prather show, which I've heard that some of you have seen that have watched the show. And if this is your first time, actually, if you heard about me through Chad Prather, welcome. Thank you for listening. Also, I will say again, like, share, and subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, at TrentChat 24/7. Check them all out. So I hope you enjoy what you're listening to and continue to come back. And again, share it, subscribe, 5-star ratings, all that jazz, because I've noticed that it really does make a difference. I mean, if you listen to other podcasts, we all pretty much say the same thing, because that definitely makes a difference to share, especially those 5-star reviews. They really, that's like cash for us, I've noticed. But yeah, so I really appreciate you coming on. This is your first time listening since, and that was a great experience. I never been in a TV studio of any sort, not that I can think of, at least. I don't remember ever being in a TV studio. And it was all, it was just, I can't say that I was totally surprised, because if you watch TV, you've seen the behind the scenes of a production before, but just actually being in the building, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, this kind of how I've seen on TV. So, but I was on the episode with his wife Jade, talking about the promises of 2020. And, I was on, if you didn't notice, if you haven't seen it, because maybe you just heard the podcast, but I was in what they call the peanut gallery. So I was on the side while Chad and Jade talked. And, me and Part 5 Steve will come in and, give our points here and there. And it was funny because I think in the first maybe 15 minutes of the show, I wasn't saying anything, not because I didn't have anything to say. It was because I was trying to figure out how to jump in. I was just kind of wondering, like, okay, how do I, really, do I just start talking? Because this is my first experience doing anything like this, because doing the podcast it's me just talking. It's not someone else just back and forth. And so I was just trying to figure it out. But after about, like I said, 10, 15 minutes, I kind of got my bearings, and then like, okay, I got an idea how, I kind of know how the flow goes. And so I got more comfortable. And so if I'm on again, I think I have a better idea as far as how to do it. Not only there, but also in general. So, cause I don't think I've ever been like a part of like a panel or anything like that. So, but yeah, again, that was great. And hopefully we'll be back on again, being a truck driver. So it really is limiting as far as me getting there all the time. And so I have to like I have to tell them ahead of time that I'll be in town and schedule it out and all that. So, but hopefully we'll get that, we'll be back on, I guess, if they like me enough to bring me back on. So I'll be more than happy to be back. But yeah, so that was, that happened in the past month. Now I know a lot of other things have been going on. I mean, lots of trends. I've been actually writing some of it down and kind of keeping a little bit of a tab on everything, thinking I was going to bring it up later in, on this podcast. Honestly, I don't think we're going to do a lot of that today. I'm hoping to come back on Thursday to maybe go a little bit into those, but I really want to just make sure we got into our interview with Jeff and Audra today. But before we get into that, let's hear a word from my friends from the Founding Project.
Hello, Trend Chat fans. The Founding Project invites you to experience our latest resource to take civics to citizens, TFP's new website. Visit us at www.thefoundingproject.com. Be a part of the civics movement with the Founding Project. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Join us today.
I saw her flying there by the dawn's early light, a little tired, a little tore up, still hurting from the fight. And then it hit me. You ain't gotta pick a side. You can love your fellow man and still have pride. 'Cause we're all stitched together like the red, white, and blue. Might be a little bit different, but we're all the same too. 'Cause the stars and stripes are so much more than that old piece of cloth on your grandma's porch. It gave us that American dream to be anything that we want to be. It don't matter where you are, from a one-room church to an uptown bar. Don't care if you're black or white or who you love. I stand for the flag, and the flag stands for all of us.
Yeah. So, wanted to play that for a number of reasons. One, because we had West Cook Band on a little over a year ago when they had their dispute with Facebook and everything that was going on with about this song, and just talking about, I stand for the flag, and so, and also because it's the only song we can legally play outside of, the stuff that we have that we put together. But as far as being able to get permission to play a song, like we got direct permission that we can play this song back when we interviewed them last year. But kind of goes into one of the things that happened in the month we were gone, but I'm not going to get too much into it. But the whole thing with, Colin Kaepernick and Nike and how that went down with the whole Betsy Ross flag shoes and all that. And one thing I was thinking about that I haven't heard much about, cause when this whole thing happened, the governor of Arizona, Doug Ducey, said that he was going to, he threatened to take away incentives for Nike to expand in Arizona because of this controversy that went on with the Betsy Ross flag shoes and with Nike taking them away because Colin Kaepernick got butthurt about it. But one thing I haven't heard about since then, because I think a week later there was a tweet and a article out there about Arizona welcoming Nike to Arizona, and with the tweet from the governor saying that this is great for jobs in Arizona. And I haven't really heard anything about that, about what went on, because the week before, when this whole story was hot, he was talking about, okay, well, we're not gonna incentivize. We're not going to give the financial incentives to Nike to come to Arizona. But then a week later, then they're tweeting about them coming. My question is, did Nike continue to expand in Arizona without the incentives? Or did the governor walk back his threat and gave them the incentives anyway? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. And if you're listening and have any idea, I would love to know it myself. But anyway, like I said, I didn't want to get too much into it. The one thing about it is that, for one, those shoes were pretty ugly. I mean, regardless of if they would have released them or not. If you saw the image of the shoes, it basically looked like there was some basic Nike shoes, and they just slapped the Betsy Ross flag on the heel of it, and that was it. Which is also kind of funny to think of why Colin Kaepernick got so upset about it. I mean, I know what he said, but yeah, the shoes were ugly anyway. So I don't know why anybody would have want to buy them in the first place. And also, it's not like if they would have released them that they were this great patriotic company all of a sudden. I mean, they're just as liberal as they always been. They just would have just made some money off of people who just saw the flag and said, "Oh, Nike got some flag shoes. Oh, let's buy them." But they still the same liberal company that has Colin Kaepernick and all the other, liberal and policies that they advocate for. I mean, if you want to know, I guess I would say check Second Vote, which we've had people from Second Vote on before, and secondvote.org or .com. Try both, but Second Vote, if you want to know more and check out about all the liberal, quote unquote progressive policies they advocate for, check them out at Second Vote. And Nike wasn't changing; they were just gonna make a buck off of some people because they had a flag on the shoes. But anyway, that went longer than I thought I was going to do it, mainly because playing a song. So, but just going to get into our interview with Jeff and Audrey Johnson, and like I said, we're glad to have her, have them both on and to talk about everything. And before we get into that, I do want to. No, actually not. I'll wait till afterwards. So, without further ado, here's the interview with Jeff and Audrey. Hey, Jeff, and we are very pleased to have special guests on. We have Jeff and Audrey Johnson with us, and if you don't know their names, I'm pretty sure you probably do by now because of the recent article and everything about their wedding of all things. And they had a very, I guess you could say a MAGA themed wedding, and it has caught fire across the nation, and we're very glad to have them on. So how y'all both doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Doing well.
So before we get into all of what happened with the wedding and all of that, just tell us a little bit about yourselves and how we got to this point to where y'all had this wedding. Well, Jeff first, I guess.
We started out, we've been together for 4.5 years now. And we decided, we wanted to get married. We were sitting down trying to decide, what we wanted to do. And both of us are extremely patriotic and love our country. I served in the Marine Corps and in the Army. And Audrey's been very active in our local community, but politically and with protests and rallies and stuff. So, you know what? We have to do something that represents us and kind of what we feel and what we believe and kind of what we're all about. So we figured, what better way to do it than to have a patriotic themed wedding? And what better day than to show off patriotism than the 4th of July? So. And
you, Audrey?
Like you said, we're both really patriotic. I think that's one of the foundations of our family. We love our country. We teach our children to respect our country and our president. And, you know, it started off as a patriotic wedding, and when Andre Soriano decided he was going to do the dress for us, we thought, man, what a better time to do it. You know, we have our red, white, and blue wedding, and we have, you know, the president that we stand behind, and we're going to have a dress by a celebrity designer that shows that. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, and yeah, tell us about the dress, because that's definitely one thing that have stood out.
Yeah, it's caused quite a stir. I don't pretend to know why, but so it's a white dress. It's mermaid style. It's got "Make America Great Again" on the front, and then on the train it says Trump on it, which seems to be triggering quite a few people.
Yeah, I know when I saw it, it just kind of reminded me of other dresses that I've seen from. I think the first one I saw was singer George Villa had one on at the Grammys, and then I saw others have worn it something similar of that. And so to see that from you. So you said you got that from the designer?
Mm-hmm, yep, Andre Soriano designed the original MAGA dress as well. So the blue one, it's like mine's the sister of her dress.
Okay. Before we go any further, again, I just want to, I guess, first let's kind of settle one thing that I've seen, unfortunately, about this is that whenever I've come across this story, and maybe like, hopefully y'all not reading the comments, but I've kind of like read some of the comments of some of this, but the one thing that came across that when I saw about it, the first thing, especially critics will say that, oh, look at these white people, and I'm like,
yeah.
Hold up. I'm like, hold up. Yeah. I knew about the story before this all really like blew up. So yeah, so settle the record here, because we definitely know that is not the case.
No, and you know it's really funny. Like they seem to not read about it before they comment. So you know, I'm the grandchild of an immigrant. My grandmother came from the Philippines, so I'm part Filipino, and you know, Jeff's dad's black and his mom's white. So we're definitely a very, very mixed family.
Yeah, and so that was kind of the unfortunate thing where I'm like, okay, obviously people not really paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Jeff.
Yeah, but, you know, it's sad though, you know, that they even have to bring that up though too. It's like, wait a minute, you know, like why are you even bringing this up? It's a wedding dress.
Yeah, and so Jeff, I one thing I did notice that you, as far as it seemed like you were in the military, or maybe I'm just going from.
Yep, that's correct. I was so right after high school, I served 4 years in the Marine Corps. Got out after 2 combat tours in Iraq, and then I fell right into joining the Army. Did another 4 years in the Army before getting out again and kind of starting to do my own thing. So,
okay, and I know also another thing I noticed in the article that I think both of you have family members that didn't want to participate in the wedding mainly because of the theme. Am I correct?
That the articles they touched on it, but they kind of left it open for interpretation. I wish they would have, been a little bit more specific. My father was the one that refused to attend, and this was long before we had decided on the theme. In fact, I think it was only a couple of days after we got engaged. We hadn't even decided on a date or a theme or anything, and he said, "You know what? I will not attend or support this marriage in any way." We're like, "Well, okay. Well, if he's not going to come, we're going to do it our way. We're going to go all in on it, and we're just going to have a blast."
So it was just him. It wasn't like you had others as well. It was just him in particular.
No, actually, all the rest of my family, including family members on my dad's side of the family, we're all for it. They're like, "Hey, this sounds like a blast. We definitely support you. We'll be there. We may not believe the same things politically all the way, but family comes first, and we'll be there for you no matter what." So.
Okay. Well, I don't want to harp on it too much. I guess one last thing about that: has anything changed since, for better or worse?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No,
I mean, you know.
no.
I mean,
Well, and you know, the news reported that, you know, my brother has in the past disowned me because of my political views. It wasn't me walking away from him; it's him walking away from me. He's a huge Bernie supporter, and we actually started talking a couple weeks before the wedding. So he actually ended up attending. So it was kind of really cool to see the, you know, group of different politics coming together too, and we had no problem whatsoever. So.
okay. Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, it is kind of a shame as far as to have politics to come into play to where, you know, you don't even want to take part in someone's life. But we've been seeing
Right.
that, you know, across the board, you know, where people just not wanting to have anything to do, especially a liberal with anything to do with anyone conservative or Republican at all. So
Yeah, you see that more than the opposite way. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some cases where, you know, a conservative says, I don't want anything to do with your liberal, but for the most part, you see the liberal who's supposed to be tolerant, being very intolerant towards somebody that's got different views.
yeah, and well, I guess have you heard from the president from all of this?
Nope.
No. No, there have been a lot of comments on several of the posts and reports and everything that, you know, we should get a phone call from the president, but no, we haven't heard anything. So,
Well, I mean, you know, give it time. Who knows? I mean, yeah.
he's a busy guy. He's got a lot to do. He's got to run our country.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but, you know, that's not why we did it. So,
No.
Yeah.
Oh, and so, I guess I don't know if anyone asked y'all about this, but the wedding itself. I mean, how was it? You know, I mean, we all saw pictures and everything, but I mean, like, you know, did you have a reception and all of that? I mean,
Yeah, the wedding was great. The ceremony was actually a very traditional ceremony. Audra actually wore a different traditional white gown for the ceremony, and then after the ceremony, she changed into the MAGA dress for the reception.
okay.
Yeah, so it was my reception dress, which a lot of brides do, so I'm not sure why that surprised them so much, but
Yeah, see,
it did.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, that's something
and
I did not know.
that was kind of significance. Like, okay, the ceremony's done, all the formal part is done. We're married. Now let's party. It's the 4th of July. Let's party.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, and see, that's something that's new to me, right? You know, and just asking you, because the way it's been framed, it made it seem like you walked down the aisle with it on.
Right. My mother would have killed me. Yeah.
I think mine would have too.
Yeah. Yep.
So, with all this that been going on, and, you know, I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure y'all done, you know, tons of interviews. I guess what has been, the best out of all of this, and also the worst that has come out of it?
I think for me, the best has been seeing the outpouring of love and support from all across the country and all over the world. We've gotten reports and comments from people in Australia and Europe and, you know, just everywhere, you know, congratulating us on our wedding, wishing us well, and, you know, telling us, hey, you know, good for you for standing up for what you believe in, regardless of what other people are going to say or think. You know, you stand for what you believe no matter what. I think for me, that's been the biggest upside of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for me that too. But then there's some conversations with, you know, some younger kids who, you know, approach me just very vile, very, you know, upset, and you know, I just say, hey, would you like to have a conversation about this? Maybe there's some things that you misunderstand. And I've really found that a lot of these kids have just been told something their entire life. And once you actually have a conversation with you kind of, you see like a light go on. And I think that, to me, has been the best part, when you can reach somebody that maybe has been told these lies. Like, I think one girl, I think she was like 19, thought that 60 to 70 people were dying every day in the ICE camps. And, once I talked to her and gave her the facts, it was kind of like, wow, I'm actually helping somebody to see something, So for me, that was the best part.
Okay. And unfortunately, what's been the worst?
Well, my son got in an accident on his four-wheeler. He unfortunately didn't listen to his mama and didn't put his helmet on, so he was in the ICU for a couple of days. And just them, wishing he would die, or there's a bunch of liberals that wish him to die, or hey, that's karma because you're a racist. And I guess I knew that it was bad, but I didn't realize it was that bad, where they were wishing, a 15-year-old boy to die. Regardless of politics, if I knew there was a 15-year-old child in the ICU, I'd be praying for them, So I think for me, that was horrible.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the vitriol amongst the left is very, very much toxic. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's bad.
Now, I guess going back to the reception, one thing for me in particular, as someone that's very pro-life, I really like the petitions for the heartbeat bill. I thought that was a real nice touch.
I'm glad.
And that's something also that media kind of put a little bit wrong. They reported it as being there was a petition on every table. No, we let our guests know. I think we made like one or two announcements throughout the entire night of the reception. Hey, these petitions are back here on their own table in the corner. If you want to sign it, please feel free. Walk over there, sign it. But nobody was, but it wasn't a topic of discussion or anything like that. It was just, it's, again, something that we believe in, and that was kind of the whole point of the day, was everything that we believe in was represented. So
yeah, it wasn't like on every table, like staring people in the faces. Like it was very. Okay, here it is. If you want to, you can.
Okay, so it wasn't on the table, but it was in the back, I'm guessing, or something like that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm the captain of my county for the Heartbeat Coalition. So I thought, how can we show our passion for this as well? Like Jeff said, this is us. This is who we are. And a lot of people, how dare you do that? Your wedding's supposed to be about you. And I'm like, it was about us. This is us.
Yeah, it was. When I saw in the report saying that, that was on every table, I was like, okay, this sounds like a good idea for me to use one day. I was like, great, that's cool.
Yeah, one reporter was just appalled. She was just, how weddings shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't force people to believe. And I'm like, we didn't force anybody. We put it on the table. We made one announcement about it. And we actually collected quite a few signatures. So it's a double blessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess if at this point, I'm pretty sure you're probably all flooded on social media. But if people want to find you on social media, where would they go?
Both of our profiles are open in public. It's not hard. you type in our names, you're gonna find it.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of that. If it can't be public on Facebook, it shouldn't be posted on Facebook. So everything we have is open. It again goes to the left. Well, you shouldn't have your Facebook public if you don't want this or that. And I'm like, if you want to have an open discussion, either me or Jeff are totally willing to have that. But there's no reason to, I find it very hypocritical where they criticize Trump for maybe he said, I think he made a comment about Rosie O'Donnell being fat. But then, if I went through comments, especially on one of the pictures on there, I think they called me fat, probably about 3,000 times, so the hypocrisy of the left is definitely showing on this one.
and that's part of the reason we leave our Facebook open and public is because we are such huge proponents of the First Amendment and free speech.
Yeah.
You got something to say, I'm not afraid to defend my position. I would ask that you come and have a polite conversation and defend your opinion and back it up with facts, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be polite, and I'm going to present facts.
Well, I guess. Well, I did have one other thing. So you're in Michigan. Right? That's what we're
Right.
in the reports.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They know where we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess with the upcoming 2020, election, in Michigan in particular, what is it like up there?
I'm probably going to get a lot of trouble. I'm actually a delegate with the Republican Party in Michigan, and I think we might be in trouble in Michigan. Trump only won Michigan by 10,000 votes, and I'm not an expert on it, but I can almost guarantee a lot of those votes weren't for him. They were against Hillary. We have, 2018, we got hit by a blue tsunami. Most of our higher level offices are now Democratic. So I think we might have a little trouble if we don't start acknowledging that and working towards it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's still a ways away. So I just wanted to ask and see how's it going up there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I think we can do it. I do, but I think part of it is acknowledging, hey, we might have an issue and we need to work towards it. Right now, everybody's kind of like, oh, well, he won last election, so he's going to win this election. And I think it was really, really close. So I think we need to get off our bums and work towards it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say that that's across the country. I think it don't need to be complacent. Definitely need to basically act like you're behind.
Yeah. Right.
So, I want to wish y'all well on your marriage, and and I appreciate y'all coming on, and just thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
I really appreciate it.
Hey everybody, it is Chad Prather, host of the Chad Prather Show. You are listening to Trend Chat with my man, Brian Bledsoe. Come on with it.
All right, and again, thanks to Jeff and Audra Johnson for coming on. Also, with Chad Prather with his shout out. And one thing that I mentioned in the interview as far as the petition for the heartbeat bill, which, like I said, I thought was a great idea. Something I would like to use myself one day. So, and speaking of that, just want to thank Cultural Life, COL1972.com. Check them out. Pro-life fashion line is fashion for life. And with so many fashion brands out there that are just actively anti-life, that are, quote unquote pro-choice and all that. And it's just great to have a brand like COL 1972 being out there, being a fashion line that is basically out on its own in the right way as far as promoting life. And as it says in the name, culture of life. So, as I said again, check them out, COL1972.com. And if you put in the code TRENDCHAT, the name of this podcast, Trend Chat, you get 10% off of your purchase. So, again, thanks to them for supporting us, and and mentioning about the petition. I just really want to kind of tie the two together. So, and also another thing that they mentioned as far as the whole thing with their wedding and reception, and I guess past couple of days, the president actually surprised someone at their wedding that was being held at one of his resorts. And so he was there, and I guess he saw some people were having a wedding, and he came by and surprised them. So, it was a lot easier as far as, because they were already at his resort. So it wasn't like like he had to travel somewhere, because he was already there. So I've heard about that. I think I saw it on TMZ. So, also, if for whoever that cares, for me, I think it's kind of cool that Avengers Endgame finally passed Avatar as the highest grossing movie of all time. So I think it's cool, mainly because I know I contributed at least a good chunk of that. Well, I've seen it a number of times. Okay. I've seen it maybe 4-5 times at the theater. So not because I was trying to add to their numbers, because I really liked the movie. And this past weekend, while they was at Comic-Con, which is something I really like to go to one day, whether as media with the podcast or just go in general. If one thing, it's hard to get those tickets. I noticed that the tickets going to sell almost a year before, and they sell out the day of almost. And so hopefully I'll go there. Speaking of that, I'm going to also, if anyone cares, but if you listen to the podcast, and also for the people who maybe are listening for the first time, we don't just talk about politics. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about movies and from time to time, and we've talked about Star Wars a number of episodes. If you go back and listen to some of those, I would really appreciate it. But speaking of Star Wars, we're going to a Star Wars celebration next year, which is another one of those events where you had to get the tickets a year in advance, because now I think all the tickets are sold out, and this doesn't happen till August of next year. So, but yeah, we're excited for that, because I've never been to anything like this, Comic-Con or, any sort of, like convention, like, we see a lot of people in cosplay and dressed up and all that. I mean, I won't be dressed up. I might wear a Star Wars shirt. Other than that, that'd be about it. But I'm excited to go to it. But, I'm just saying all that because, yeah, like I said, Avengers Endgame finally passed Avatar, and, right now it's like 2.792 billion, and it just went over the top. Now, it's funny. It is the highest grossing movie, total as far as money goes. But one thing I know that it's not to put an asterisk on it, but you got to put it in perspective. So when you adjust for inflation, it's still nowhere close to the number one movie. Which I guess is a little bit of trivia for you, if you know. What is the highest grossing movie when adjusted for inflation? So you got to put in all the movies, in the past, and just take a guess. I'll give you a couple of minutes. No, not a couple of minutes. I'll give you a couple of seconds. This ain't Jeopardy, but it's Gone with the Wind, and it's by a large margin. Adjusted for inflation, Gone with the Wind is the highest grossing movie of all time. So, and then number 2 is Star Wars. I mean, it's not that close, but it's still the number 2 highest grossing movie when adjusted for inflation is Star Wars, with number 1 being Gone with the Wind. But just wanted to bring that up, and it's just because, we'll definitely be talking about Star Wars when it gonna get close to Rise of Skywalker later on this year. So I appreciate everyone listening. I guess they kind of want to end this on a little bit of a somber note, only because, in the past month, I would be lying to say that there weren't times where I just was a little discouraged, maybe, and just didn't feel like even getting behind the microphone, or even saying anything. I mean, on top of everything that was going on, I guess also with the technical difficulties and stuff that were going on, and were just kind of making it more difficult to do the podcast. There were times where I was just like, well, you know what? I would just stop altogether and just not do it at all. I mean, what's the point? But the thing about it for me, one, it's fun. It really is fun to do this right here. It's just the other stuff that kind of makes it a little bit like work. And I guess when other stuff was adding on, it was feeling more and more like work. But now I've kind of got to pass that. But like I said before, the only time it really feels like work is when I'm have to edit like a when I edit in interviews or something like that. That's kind of feels like work, but doing this right now, this is nothing. This is fun right here. And so, but in those times where I was kind of feeling discouraged and kind of feeling like, I might just not do the podcast at all. And I mentioned that because on the other side, I always have people who are there encouraging me and telling me, hey, we like the podcast, and keep doing what you're doing, and just pushing me really. And I mentioned that because one of those people was Debbie Terry, and Debbie Terry recently passed this the past week, and she was always so friendly and passionate about helping out, and she was a SREC in the Republican Party, and a lot of people in the North Texas area, especially in Republican circles, we all knew her, and we knew she was going through some health complications, so in the past week she passed, and I just want to mention that only because in the times where I was thinking about the whole getting discouraged and whatnot, and I know because Debbie will be one of those people that will say, I appreciate the podcast and keep doing what you're doing. So, and just knowing that, I was just like, well, that it really, not only just for the fact of because of people like her, and that would do that and say that, I just wanted to mention that because we're really going to miss not seeing her at various meetings and getting a hug from her. So thoughts and prayers with the family, and really going to miss her. So, and just guess to kind of end on a little bit of a somber note, but I definitely want to mention that. So again, I appreciate everyone listening again. And again, if this is your first time listening, I hope you come back and listen to all the other episodes. This is episode 146, so there's like 145 episodes you can go back and listen to, and listen to all of them. Give 5-star reviews. Again, like, share, and subscribe. It really helps, and we really appreciate everyone listening. And until next time, I will say Thursday, but until next time, we'll chat with you later.